Microbes might be sending your brain secret emotional instructions right now. We always thought consciousness was this singular, complex thing happening inside our skull. But what if a massive, hidden processing core runs in your belly? Think of the gut not just as digestion hardware, but as an entirely separate, ancient computational network running parallel to classical cognition. This is the enteric nervous system, a sprawling second brain that manages rhythms and feedback loops outside centralized control. It is constantly monitoring everything from distension to metabolite shifts, informing our state of being before we even have a name for it. That raw gut wisdom everyone talks about. We are going deep into how this biological wiring dictates your subjective reality. We often talk about intuition as something mystical, but what if it's just an incredibly sophisticated biological signal? Think of your gut not merely as a digestive pipe, but as a second computational brain, the enteric nervous system. This network is running complex processing right beneath our skin. It's constantly gathering real-time data from the lining of your intestines about everything going on inside you. This intense self-awareness is what scientists call interoception. The key isn't just that the gut talks to the brain, it's how fast and richly they talk. Signals travel up these vagal lines, translating chemical shifts in metabolites directly into felt experiences, a physical sensation of knowing. This establishes a profound loop. Your body doesn't wait for you to think before it tells you what is true. The system isn't just responding, it is computing. We are moving beyond simple correlation, where gut changes affect mood, to an actual architecture of awareness. Imagine your digestive tract as a massive, decentralized supercomputer running parallel processes beneath consciousness itself. This incredible network capacity is the enteric nervous system. It is not merely reacting to food. Its intrinsic rhythms and chemical whispers feed back into our deepest sense of self through something called somatic resonance, which means something nobody expected for how much agency we truly possess over our own internal experience. We are finding a way to map biological oscillations directly onto qualitative states, redefining what it means to be embodied. Imagine your gut isn't just digestion. Think of it as an independent, high-speed computer running parallel to your conscious thought. This network, the ENS, is constantly reporting back on internal conditions, tension, balance, subtle shifts in metabolism. It does wait for permission from the brain. Instead, this bidirectional loop means your physical state dictates how you feel existentially. Your gut signals are shaping your very sense of self and stability. The vagus nerve acts like a high-fidelity fiber optic cable carrying these minute chemical updates straight to your core identity systems. But is it that simple? Some researchers argue the brain remains the sole arbiter of feeling, discounting this massive internal feedback loop entirely. If gut chemistry can literally influence existential states, what does that mean for free will? The next stage shows how metabolites might be doing more than just signaling. They could be building consciousness itself. We used to think consciousness was this single, centralized processor in our skull. But what if your gut wisdom is just a random feeling? What if there is an entire distributed computational layer running parallel to that central cognition? Think of it less like a radio receiving instructions and more like a vast internal network, constantly generating its own complex data streams. The intricate rhythms of the enteric nervous system create signals so dense, they are effectively modeling our state before we even consciously process it. We see metabolites interacting with nerve receptors, the fire starts in the gut, but what happens when those raw chemical oscillations finally translate into an undeniable subjective certainty? That conversion is where everything changes. We've always assumed that subjective experience, your intuition, must originate in the central command center, the brain, a single source of consciousness. But what if we were looking at this like a clockwork machine when it's actually more like an entire distributed ecosystem? Imagine not one conductor leading an orchestra, but millions of instruments making their own harmonic decisions simultaneously. The evidence suggests that your gut is running its own parallel processing network, constantly modulating how you feel and think without direct command from the cortex. This isn't just correlation, it's architectural influence. If this second brain has intrinsic rhythm, does that mean the self we perceive might not be singular at all? The deepest part of our awareness isn't happening in a distant center. It's resonating here in your core, in the intricate network of your gut. Think of this as having an internal radio station constantly broadcasting emotional and chemical data to your brainstem. When that system is balanced, you feel grounded. If it falters, intuition gets noisy. To begin aligning with this ancient wisdom, start by treating your digestive tract not just as a machine for digestion, but as the primary sensor of existence itself. Pay attention to what signals are arriving from within. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com. The evidence suggests your gut isn't just a processing unit, it's an entire distributed command center operating in parallel with your mind. Think of this inner system not as a simple alarm bell, but as a sophisticated antenna array constantly tuning into state change. The ultimate realization here is that the qualitative shifts we describe, the intuition, the dread, are fundamentally anchored to quantitative bioelectrical architecture within you. You don't have to find external validation for your internal knowing. Your first and most vital step must be learning how to read its signal before you try to name or fix the emotion it produces. It is the ultimate source of subjective grounding. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com.